Welcome to the Cognition Courier. How were you guys these weeks? Mine were complicated. The past Tuesdays my internet stopped working, so the next day I went to the company that provides me the service to ask for a technician to go to my home and check it. But a week has passed and nobody has yet come. However, a couple of days ago it starts to work again. Why? I may never know. In the last video, I promised that I will explain how I think is the best way to look at your win rate percentage. If you ever enter to your profile, you will know that in Ascension we have 3 classes of games based on the number of players, 2, 3 and 4. To calculate your win rate for the 2 players mode is simple, just divide the 1 games by the total of games. The 3 and 4 players modes are a bit different, because you are fighting versus more than one opponent, and a win is only counted if you can first. So if you do the same accounts, the result very hardly exceeds the 50%. That result leads us to a strict value that for me doesn't serve the purpose, so let's see how to do it differently. This other way is the one that I feel the most comfortable with. First, you need to adjust the number of your victories to the number of your opponents, just multiplying them by that number. After that, you will need to add that value to the losses for a new total. Then, you take the new victory number and multiply it by the real total games, and divide it by the new total to get a more accurate number of victories according to the number of opponents in the same amount of games. Lastly, divide this fixed number of victories by the real total to get the fixed win rate. If you want a global win rate, it's the same process for both ways. Take the last number of victories, add them, then divide them by the sum of the totals. I will leave a link to a Google spreadsheet that you can download it if you want. Well, with that concluded, now we can start with the Mechana CotG ranking, but not before you click that like button. Okay, go. For the bottom of the list is Mechana Initiate, a 1/1 hero that gives you a rune or a power. Sadly, this is the worst card that you can buy of the entire set. I mean, when you play it, you can decide between an apprentice or a militia that are the initial cards that you want to banish to help your cycle. If you buy this on early or mid game, you are only hurting you by adding a brick to your cycles. Even on late game, I dislike buying this card, but if you feel that you are already powerful enough, you can afford to buy this one honor card. If this card were like his brother Sion of Ulot of the 7th expansion that gives you both resources instead of one of them, it would be much more interesting, but this is what we have. The next one is Avatar Golem, a 4-cost 2 honor hero that reads as follows. Gain 2 power and gain 1 honor for each faction among constructs you control. So, you can gain from 0 to 4 honor with this hero. Then, if in the worst case, if you have no constructs, you are playing a very expensive heavy infantry. And in the very unlikely better case, it pays its cost in honor and gives you 2 power, what is very strong. However, the standard is having Mechana and Void or Lifon, so obtaining 1 or 2 honor for a 4-cost heavy infantry isn't worthy. I mean, if the center are a lot of monsters, I prefer to buy 2 infantries instead of this, but if you are sure you can keep 2 or more factions, it could be a powerful card. Leaving behind the bad Mechana heroes, we can start with the power of the faction, the construct. On number 8 is Hedron Link Device. Before telling its effect, I need to clarify that Mechana constructs have the best cost-honor ratio, trading each run you paid for 1 honor. Now, continuing with this device, is the only card to do nothing by itself. Its effect reads as follows. You may treat all constructs as Mechana. So, nothing. Okay. Obviously, a 7-cost card can do nothing if you buy it. All the other Mechana constructs can take advantage of this effect, buying other factions cheaper, obtaining more damage and making nice combos. That I will explain later. The 7th spot is for Watchmaker Altar. This 5-cost contract gives you 1 rune each turn, but its usage is only limited just for buying other Mechana constructs. If you compare this card with the Snapdragon, you can immediately notice that the Snapdragon effect is much better. But this has better stats. 3 more honor and being a Mechana means that can benefit from other Mechana construct. I think that choosing between those two cards depends more on the state of the game. On the early game, Snapdragon will help you every single turn, but in late you don't need so much help, and you could combo more with Alter and even buy it cheaper. The 6th place is for the Beast, the Hadron Cannon. This is the most expensive card in CotG. Costing 8 runs to acquire, its effects give you 1 power for each Mechana construct you control. It does count itself, so if you go for the Mechana route, this is the goal, the heavy machine that kills the monsters to ensure your win, but it has a couple of failures. Starting with its high cost, it's easier to kill the boss and acquire this card by that way than to buy it for the normal way. But not all games will be those cards together. So what are the other problems? One is that if your opponents realize that you are near to buy this card, they are going to put their efforts on banish this. Finally, if you acquire it and is the only Mechana construct you control, this will be doing the same as a 3-cost construct test card. But if you manage to have at least one Mechana, this provides a lot of helps. If you have this and 2 other constructs, it's very hard to destroy it, because you will kill every monster that can treat you. For me, this spot wasn't easy to decide. So, in number 4 is Core, the Ferromancer. This is one of my favorite heroes of the sets. It is a 3 runes 2 honor that when it's played gives you 2 power. Also, if you have 2 construct, gives you a draw. Comparing this with Avatar Golem, you can check a couple of strengths this card has. First, it costs 3 runes instead of 4, so you couldn't buy 2 infantries for the same price. Second, drawing a card can be even better than 2 or 3 honor. Having an extra card can define between killing a high power monster or not, and the characteristic that I like the most is that it doesn't check the faction of your constructs. Moving to number 4 is Rocket Carrier X99, a 4-cost construct that reads as follows. Once per turn, when you acquire another Mechana construct, you may put it directly into play. So, starting with the basic, it gives you an additional card if you buy a mecha. Also, you do not have to wait until you draw that new construct. The most interesting Mechana combos implies this card. For example, if you have 7 rune and this in your control, you can buy another of these, put that directly on play, then buy a borrower and put that on play too. Or if you acquire the cannon, then you have 2 powers starting from that same turn. Or in combination with the link device, you can play from other factions too. One of the best combos on this set I think that is link device plus X99 and buy Table of Times Dawn to immediately get an extra turn. The 3rd place is for Borrower Marks II. This cheap 3-cost contract is the best defensive card on the set. What I mean with defensive, I will explain it after reading the effect. Once per turn, when you put a Mechana construct into play, draw a card. This card cancels the drawback for playing a construct, that is having 1 hero less in hand to play that turn, and it does that for every Mechana construct. So, if your opponent forces you to destroy 1 construct, you can destroy this to keep the other workings, and when you draw this again, you don't lose a card that turn. And in other cases, instead of destroying all except 1, you can keep this construct to help you to recover faster as you go playing the other construct. Not to mention, if you manage to buy both Mark II, destroy you a construct is an error because you could take advantage of that. Reactor Monk is the number 2 of this list. He is a 4-2 hero that gives you 2 runes and discount 1 to the next construct that you will acquire. Then he gives almost 3 runes for just cost 4. And in this set that the constructs are more powerful than heroes, that extra rune is incredibly helpful. This hero is like Land Toiker but 2 runes cheaper, and if you compare it to a Mystic, just paying one extra run is absolutely worthy for this monk. I think this card should cost 4.5, but you can have a run, you have it or you don't, and if it costs 5, it wouldn't deserve this spot. For the golden medal, this week we have the grind design. This is the 6 runes Mechana construct that has the same effect as Watchmaker Altar, but instead of giving 1 rune for Mechana, it gives you 2 runes. First, I thought that the difference was very small, but every game proves me how bad was that first impression. You pay just 1 more rune, 20% if it sounds better, for getting double the rune each turn, 100% more. As I already said, the power of Mechana construct is huge, so have the possibility to buy 2 runes cheaper every single turn is a winning factor. Really, if you manage to buy the grand design in the round 3 or 4, you lean the scales to your favor. For example, this allows you to buy Borrower Mark II for just 1 rune. It's ridiculous. I even feel this should cost 7 runs, and Hedron Link Device should be the 6th cost, and it would still be a nice card to acquire. This time, the extra note is for this card. This new artwork is the inspiration of the channel logo, just that my drawing skills are the same as a 6 years old, so I don't waste my time on that. And that's all for this week. I hope you really like it, and if you do, click the subscribe button, and if you want more content like this, leave a like, or vice versa. Comment below what is your favorite construct of the set and why. If you're still here, I thank you for supporting me. Next time will be Void time.